I wasted years of my life waiting to feel ready, waiting to have more money, waiting for the perfect moment to finally rebuild my life after everything fell apart. But you know who wasn't waiting? Life itself. My kids kept growing, bills kept coming, time kept moving whether I was ready or not. Which is why in the next few minutes, I'll show you not only why waiting to start building your future could cost you more than you realize, but also why right now is the best time in history to take control. So hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tony. I spent the last decade working hard to keep my head above water, raising my kids as a single dad, managing my career, and just trying to figure out how to build a successful business. But despite all that effort, all that responsibility, I still never felt ready to truly build the life I wanted. That is, until just a few years ago, when I finally realized that waiting was doing nothing but stealing time I could never get back. Now, a few years later, I'm healthier, stronger, and living a life that actually feels like it's moving forward, not just surviving day to day. Which brings us to today's video, because so many people I've talked to these past few years, maybe just like you, are stuck in that same waiting pattern I was in. Waiting to fix their finance, waiting to work on their health, waiting to finally start living again after everything falling apart. And now, with the world changing faster than ever, that waiting has evolved into paralysis for a lot of people. Wondering if it's even possible anymore, wondering if it's too late. But the reality is, more people than ever are stepping up right now. They're not waiting for perfect clarity, they're not waiting for the perfect plan, they're just starting. And the longer you wait to join them, the further behind you will be. And maybe not for the reasons you think, because the real cost of waiting isn't just time. It's not simply measuring from point A, when you could have started, to point B, where you are now. The cost of waiting is exponential. That time that passed wasn't just unspent, it was uninvested. It was time that could have been stacking wins in your health, your finance, and your relationship. But then, every day you're not making moves to improve your life, whether that's getting your money right, taking care of your body, or strengthening the bond with your kids, you're missing out on compound growth. So traditionally, building a better life meant slow, steady progress, saving a little bit each paycheck, losing a pound here and there, getting a little more patience, a little more confident over time. And that still happens. But today, with the world changing so fast, there's an entirely new layer of growth available to people who embrace it. See, when you stop isolating and you start actively rebuilding your life, when you lean into not just surviving, but actually thriving, the way time works changes completely. And with how fast opportunities, informations, and support systems are moving today, the compound effect, this ability to build a stronger life, is only getting stronger every day. Every day you wait isn't just a 24-hour day loss. It's a day of exponential growth you never get back. And I come back to why that matters even more in a second. But here's something we have to talk about first. If waiting is so costly, and deep down we know it is, why do we still keep doing it? I think one of the biggest reasons we wait is because we tell ourselves, I'll start once I figure it all out. We convince ourselves it's smart to wait, that we're just being careful, that we're just trying to measure twice and cut once. But the truth is, especially today, life isn't giving us that kind of timeline. The world keeps shifting. New challenges comes up monthly, even weekly sometimes, and by the time you feel like you master one piece of life, three new things are already demanding your attention. Waiting until you have everything figured out is just another way of staying stuck. But what actually matters, and what changed everything for me, isn't mastering every little tactic or technique, it's understanding the fundamentals that stay constant. Whether you're working to rebuild your finance, improve your health, or strengthen your relationship, the core principles of growth don't change just because life does. And that realization leads to something even bigger. Because life is always evolving faster than ever, and the real skill isn't mastery, it's adaptation. The ability to pick up new habits quickly, to recognize new challenges and adjust without getting stuck, to keep moving forward even when the path keeps shifting, that's what really matters. You can't wait until you learn everything about budgeting, fitness, parenting, career growth, because honestly, that's impossible today. There's just too much. It's changing too fast. The people who are building strong, meaningful lives right now, they aren't the ones who waited to figure it all out first. They're the ones who started messy, uncertain, scared, and learned as they went. They built momentum while they were still figuring it out. They stacked tiny wins while still having doubts. And over time, that momentum pulled them ahead. This completely changes how we think about experience. Not experience like some perfect resume with no mistakes, not a clean 10-year plan, but real life experiences measured in hours, weeks, and years you spend actually showing up and doing the work. Think about how success used to be. You spend 10 years mastering a single craft, pick your lane, pick your tool, and become the expert. Filling a role in a neat little career ladder, but that world is disappearing. The new reality is not about waiting 10 years to be ready, it's about starting now and letting the work itself build the experience you need. But that world where you could master one thing and coast for years is disappearing. The tools we use to manage our lives, careers, and even parenting, the way opportunities show up, the way challenge evolves, everything is changing too fast right now. So mastering a single skill isn't enough anymore. What matters now is just starting. Because when you start working on yourself, no matter where you begin, every habit, every lesson, every new strength you build starts unlocking doors you didn't even know existed, often in unexpected ways. Maybe learning how to manage your money better suddenly helps you manage your time better. Maybe starting a simple workout routine boosts your energy, which makes you a more patient dad, which then strengthens your relationship with your kids. All these combinations, the way one improvement fuels another, only exist because you knock over that first domino. You take the first step, and in turn, that momentum creates opportunities that didn't even exist before you started. Everything you build now, your health, your finance, your mindset, it didn't just serve one purpose. It compounds. It grows across every part of your life. I've learned this firsthand. The crucial first step I finally took at 33, the first domino I knocked over, was choosing to stop waiting and just start rebuilding. At first, it was simple things: tracking my spending, committing to a daily workout, setting better boundaries with my time and energy. And just after a few weeks of showing up consistently, I started to feel a shift. Small wins turned into big wins. New habits turned into real momentum. But the real transformation happened when I kept stacking those wins. When I didn't stop after the first bit of progress, but kept leaning into the process. And something fascinating happened. Things that once felt impossible, things like saving money, getting fit, feeling truly happy again, started becoming normal. Not because I figured everything out overnight, but because I started and I kept going. When I started making real changes in my life, something unexpected happened. The small habits I built, saving a little money, exercising daily, improving how I show up as a dad, kept working for me long after the excitement started wearing off. Weeks and months later, I was still seeing the benefits. Unexpected doors started opening. A little extra savings led to unexpected financial breathing room when an emergency hits, and Lord knows that happens all the time. A better fitness routine led to more energy, more patience, and better days with my kids. Being more present at home led to a deeper bond that keeps growing every day with my kids. And to put this into perspective, these results didn't come from some flashy overnight change. They came from small habits and choices I made months earlier, quietly building that momentum behind the scenes while life kept moving. At the time, it didn't feel big. Sometimes it felt like nothing was happening at all. But that's how real growth works. It's not about chasing some big dramatic transformation, it's about stacking small wins that keep paying you back over time. So let's think about it this way. When you take care of your health today, maybe just a quick workout or a good meal, it might not feel much. It might not go viral inside your life overnight. But months from now, that decision is still paying off. Your body feels better. Your mind feels stronger. Your energy shows up when you need it most. Most people think they have to choose between handling real life or working on themselves. Like focusing on personal growth somehow means you're neglecting your personal responsibilities. But that's not true. We can't let that false choice hold us back. Building a better life, a life that compounds and grows over time, requires both. It requires a foundation, health, wealth, and strong relationships, and it requires continuing to stack small improvements on top of that foundation every day, even when nobody's clapping for you yet. even when progress feels slow. That's how real momentum is built. And once it starts working for you, it keeps building long after you forget how small the first step felt. So while others are still hesitating, taking maybe that first step towards change, but then getting stuck, doubting if they're really ready, you could be building something real. You could be stacking the habits, the wins, the momentums that moves you forward, bit by bit, just day by day. If there's one thing I hope you take away from this video is this: the perfect moment to start doesn't exist. The perfect moment to fix your finances doesn't exist. The moment to get your health back on track doesn't exist. The moment to rebuild your life after setbacks and heartbreak, it doesn't exist. And with the world changing faster than ever, new challenges, new demands, new distractions showing up every week, waiting for a better time only makes it harder. It only pushes you further from the life you want to build. But here's the truth: this constant change, it also means that starting today is easier than ever before. The barrier to improving your life is lower than ever. Resources are out there. Support is out there. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need the willingness to take the first step. What matters isn't waiting until everything is perfect. What matters is building momentum that compounds into something bigger. And look, I get it. Today isn't perfect. Your situation isn't perfect. You might still feel like you're not ready, but today is the only day that matters. Because tomorrow will either be another day of growth you earn or another day you let opportunity slip by. The only choice you have to make today is this: will you wake up tomorrow as someone who already started investing in their future, or someone who waited too long and lost years they can never get back? I truly wish someone had told me this when I was standing where you are now. I wish someone had grabbed me by the shoulders and said, it's not about waiting, it's about starting right here, right now. So if this resonated with you, hit like and subscribe so you can find your way back. Thank you for being here, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you.